Hello.
Hey, Laura.
I saw there's no agenda, so it might be
Yeah,
a quiet one.
shorten. Yep. Yeah. I don't know if you saw I tagged 050.
Ooh.
So I need to send the announcement out on the mailing list. And I did a slash approve on Arthur's PR as well.
Okay,
He
excellent.
shortened the label.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Hi, Arthur. I was just saying I slash approved your Kit PR.
Oh, cool. Uh, sweet. Uh,
Yeah, just a couple of minutes ago.
ah,
Hi, John.
okay.
Hello, hello.
Cool, thanks.
Howdy.
Hello.
It's a small meeting today.
Yeah, well, there's nothing on the
Small,
agenda,
yeah, it's the
so.
Uh,
smallest agenda possible.
and here I was thinking, I could get some rhythm back. We just had a newborn
Oh yeah,
daughter
congrats.
Oh,
last week.
congratulations.
Thanks.
Last
But then it
week.
was
Oh
like,
my God, what are you doing here?
Congrats.
well, she's asleep on the couch,
Okay.
with the wife and the other daughter. So yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, it's waving at me. But it's yeah. Um, Looks like, of course, right now there's something else happening. Anyway, yeah, having some rhythm with meetings that tend to help. But then again, has to be a meeting for that to give you that
Yeah.
Yeah.
rhythm, that sense of time back.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Steven, should we start it and then see if there's anything and then possibly stop it?
Yep, exactly. Yep. So welcome
Observe the
everybody.
forms.
Yep. So welcome everybody to the Tuesday, May 5th, 2026 SIG Multicluster call. And yeah, as we've just been saying, there's nothing on the agenda today, but the floor is open if there's something you want to bring up. And I was saying to Laura before everybody else joined, I tagged 050 earlier today with the follow-up commit to bump the dependency in the submodules and tag those. So thanks, Arthur, for the help with that as well. And I'll send the announcement email out either just after this or tomorrow morning to the mailing list. So we now have V1 Beta 1 usable by everybody and the conformance tests as well. And the conformance tests, they expect V1 Beta 1. So there's currently no compliant implementation,
Spicy.
but we'll see how long it takes for that to change.
Great.
I
All
actually
right.
have
Well, yeah, go ahead,
one
John.
question on that. So the conformance test and release, they of course have to have some synchronization in order for the if a release happens, the conformance test also has to be able to test for whatever the release changed or added or whatever. Um, is that still currently the manual process? I think we talked about this a while ago about some of the automation around it. Don't think it's super high priority because there haven't been that many releases yet. But is that something that we're still looking for?
Um, so what do you mean exactly? So, well,
Well, of course, the simple example would be the change log where it automatically can collect your
all right,
public
okay.
messages and change log, stuff like that.
All right, okay. So yeah, automation around the release. I was thinking you were wondering about making sure that the conformance tests are up to date for the API that's been
But
released,
yeah,
which
oh no,
was
that as well. I would bucket it all together into your
yeah,
DevOpsy kind of work, which usually it's something that you can do a very heavy-handed design on that ahead of time, but it usually doesn't work out that well. But once there have been some releases and some design work done, then you can see where the needs and where the benefits might end up.
yeah,
But I suppose right now, because there isn't that much that needs to be done by hand, it's still perfectly
yeah,
fine to do it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've been doing it manually, so there's just a few PRs to list. It's
Yeah.
not particularly difficult, but yeah, it's so there is one thing I would like to get automated, which is at least the whole submodule tagging thing, because that's easy to forget.
Yeah.
The hard part about that, well, it's not necessarily hard, it just means we need to think about it, is if we're doing on a release on the main branch, then it's fairly easy. We can just do a follow-up commit with the bumps and tag that. Where it gets a bit more complicated is if we ever decide to do a patch release for a previous version, then we'd
Yeah.
have to have some automation to create a branch. But then we'd need a branch to collect the changes for that patch release anyway. So yeah, that's probably not much
Yeah,
of a
you would
problem.
need you might also need a branch for the submodules, because if you have a submodule that would not be compatible with the previous release but contains patches that are required for a previous release, you might need to cherry pick some of them into a
Yeah,
branch in your submodule, and that branch
yeah,
submodule have to be referenced in your branched release. Um,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, well,
that would
that's
be
what I did for the 041 release because
yeah.
I tagged 041 without taking care of the submodules. Then Arthur pointed out that we needed to do that, and after that, there had already been PRs merged, so I created a branch off of the 041 tag, fixed the submodules, and then released that. So
Yeah.
that would be good to automate. The other big piece of automation we need is around all the conformance tests. But that's more on the website side of things. Um,
So that they would rerun
then
and then republish.
yeah, well, it's more about and that really depends on the what we decide for the how we present the sort of recentness, let's say, of conformance results. Do we want to um, well, so what I'm wondering is, when we cut a release, do we want to update the website to say that the conformance tests are for an older version than the current one? I don't know. So
I think it can be
there's that.
useful. Yeah. There's lots of documentation
Yeah.
pages. Usually, when they use, I think they're all stuck on MK Docs, and one of the auto-generated flags where it says if your comment has been X days ago, it will put up a banner like, "Hey, you're looking at an older version of the
Yes.
documentation."
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah. But something time-based is probably more useful than something release-based for us.
yeah. Especially because the releases, because the time irrelevant which release it was, it's about how fresh or how stale essentially the report might be. And it would probably be very much more involved to take the conformance test results and then the release, the release of the what your conformance test was tested against compared to the release of the implementation it was tested for. You would then
Yeah.
need to track their versions as well, which is, yeah, if you just take a time-based approach, then all of that is eliminated, because it doesn't matter if their release was old or the conformance test it was testing for is old. What matters is that the result is old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so then we don't need automation around releases for that, which is
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like about the conferences generally with them we test like when there is like significant performances on like some minor and SIG implementations, and well, depending on the result and what we are testing, it can be valid that the conformance test broke or something, but that's fine. but we judged based on that. And about the time base, we were discussing it, but I think the conformance test program take another direction slightly because it's version based now, which I mean could be fine, but
Well, that's just how the results are presented,
yeah.
which I think makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can of course do a detailed table or just a score, just a number, but at the end of the day, the conformance only matters to if someone's looking at it and they're like, well, I'm trying to use something, feature XYZ. It might matter more or less depending on who's reading the report. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the conformance is, of course, it's for whoever is consuming it. So we could say something is not entirely compliant, and then it's like, well, maybe the user doesn't really mind. But yeah, it's the same with when the gateway API came along, and that's not fully supported, or when there's features that are available in systems that are not supported by the gateway API. Doesn't necessarily always matter. Of course, in the SIG Multicluster releases, there aren't that many different features. So if you drop one or two, then well, what remains to in your implementation? Because there's not that much that you can drop without not being very useful anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well,
that might change though.
I mean, yeah, well, the old DNS and all of that is technically optional. By the way, I'm not exactly sure. Maybe we should revisit at some point what is optional and what is not. But
Yeah.
probably in this discussion.
Yeah, it's the same with most things network related, where the question is, well, should they support IPv4, IPv6, both, or explicitly only one of them, or that sort of thing? Or should it support upgrading or downgrading? Should it be doing 64 or 46, stuff like that? That's an entire different kind of worms. But yeah, those are the types of features where for some people it might matter a lot. For a lot of people, it might only matter very little. But yeah.
Yep.
I don't think it's in the cap. It's necessarily it wasn't really there wasn't really some sort of gradation whether how the importance of everything wasn't necessarily stated on from that perspective. It was mostly design wise and feature wise how it should work, but not necessarily what happens if you don't implement it. Only that it's optional, and if you don't have it, then it obviously won't work. But it doesn't make your implementation not work. So,
Yeah.
Of course, the risk of such a thing is that it could scope creep and balloon into a massive scope if you want to have a gradient of optionality versus critical to implement. But yeah, having nothing is also not the best option. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have huge amounts of features, so.
Yeah, but we had some little one here and there, and we tended to make it optional. So I don't know, maybe at some point, for instance, like exporting labels and annotation maybe should be required at some point. I don't know, but we'll see how this goes. It's not like super urgent or anything, and probably like the report program will help us to have like a global view of folks, and also maybe like the implementation that didn't like kept up to date with all the recent changes would say, hey, I don't support all of these things, and it could be quite easy and to add it, and they will add it. I don't know.
Yeah, it could definitely work the other way around, where if you show someone features that are not required, but implementing them is easy and it unlocks features for your end users, It could also work as a driver for projects to keep up to date. Yeah. But yeah, it was just what popped into my head just before we were done with the empty agenda.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So actually, there is a PR open on the website to add some automation around the conformance reports. So if people have got time to review that, that could be helpful. And I'd be interested in seeing actual conformance results to feed into that as part of the review. Yeah, thanks for the link, Laura. It's in the chat. I'll copy it to the agenda.
Yeah, because if you have actual materials to look at, that also gives you
Exactly.
some inspiration, some idea of what you want to hammer at. Yeah, I'm definitely looking into that.
Okay, well, for an empty agenda, we've done not too bad.
I know, right?
That often happens. Um, does anyone else have anything to bring up? All right, I'll take silence as a no. So thanks everybody for joining. As always, see you next time and have a good rest of the week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.